All right. Welcome to episode 3 of the Tim Hayn, Tim Hayn, Tim Hayn, Tim Hayn, the Tim Hayn podcast. Yeah. All right, we back up in it. Episode 3. We're keeping this one light. Last one was a little heavy. I'd like to talk about the weight of existence. Sometimes shit's pretty serious. But I'm going to go ahead and keep this one a little light. So this one is all about how I got hired at the Red Elvises and got to live my dream as a regularly touring and performing, gigging musician. So I used to be in a band called the Red Elvises, a Russian surf rock band for 4.5 years. The band has been around about 30 years. And I joined, it started in the mid 90s. I joined back in 2016. I worked in the restaurant industry for all of my 20s. And a friend of mine, Sammy D, shout out Sammy D, owned a recording studio called Red Recorders. And it was a fantastic place for the LA music scene and local musicians to come showcase their art, record their art. We had these parties and mixers and gatherings, and because of that I got to meet Jasmine Gavada, who is a fantastic drummer. She was in a all-girl punk rock band called the Sirens, and she also recorded and used Redgate recorders. And so one day she was also the drummer at the time for the Red Elvises. One day she was talking to Sam about needing a new person to join the band. And the conversation went something like, yeah, we need someone who can, play keyboard and guitar and trumpet and sing. Seems kind of unrealistic to have one person do all that, but that's what we're looking for. And Sammy D goes, I know a guy. I know a guy who can do just that. So anyway, Jasmine reached out to me and offered me an audition. It was on a Tuesday. She let me know all about the band's grueling tour schedule and what it's like being on the road. And if I'm interested, auditions are on Friday. Like I said, she reached out on Tuesday, said the audition is Friday. Now, the audition is learn these 3 songs and then show up to a gig. We're performing in Hollywood at Molly Malone's on Friday. And that's your audition. You're going to guest perform on stage with us for those 3 songs. Like, okay. Which I found that to be pretty interesting because I could have sucked. I could have completely sabotaged their performance. Like, I felt like that was a pretty gnarly audition. Like, I had a lot riding on it. And great. So, show up to the audition. I look up the Red Elvises. I notice that they like to wear flashy uniforms on stage, and not uniforms, but like flashy stage costumes. And so the best thing I had was this 70s style leather jacket. So I wore that. I learned the songs as best as I could. And while I'm up there, I noticed that they like to have a lot of stage presence. So I realized that whatever I was lacking in musicianship, I could make up for with personality and stage presence. And so, sure enough, I passed the first audition. I got a call back. Igor, the leader of the band, invited me over to his apartment, and I brought all my instruments that I could play: guitar, keyboard, trumpet. At the time, I could also play drums and other things, but in the second audition, I played a song that I wrote. I played a cover. He jammed on guitar while I soloed on trumpet and showed him my soloing skills and my jam skills and all that. And pretty quickly, it turned into a conversation about the future, and very quickly offered me the gig. And the way it went, he said, all right, you got the gig. We leave in 3 weeks. Learn these 40 songs. I was like, whoa, all right. And when we leave in 3 weeks, we're gone for 3 months. Like a 73 show, 3-month tour. It was 1 month West Coast tour, and then a little 5-day break, and then a 2-month East Coast tour. Now that 2-month East Coast tour was pretty gnarly because we had 3 days off in that 2-month period. So I immediately just got thrown to the wolves, right into the fire. So I put in my 2-week notice at my restaurant job and start learning all these songs. Now there's no chord charts, there's no sheet music, there's nothing to read to learn the music. I just had live performance videos that I had to find on YouTube, and then I had to listen and then play along and figure out what key it's in, what are the chords, and just figure it out myself, just like I did as a teenager when I grew up learning music, and I'd listen to the radio and I'd play along and figure that out. That's exactly how this was. I just had to figure it out. And man, it was daunting. It was so scary. It was really exciting, but I was so nervous. I almost didn't take the gig. Like I second guessed if that was what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a professional musician, but did I specifically want to be in this band? Which I also knew this might be a distraction for my own thing. And it's like, well, my own thing's not happening, so might as well do something in line with music and in line with my dream. So I had a couple talks with some friends, and it was the consensus was I would be foolish not to accept this job. So of course I accepted it, put in my 2 weeks notice, learned the songs as fast as I could. I think I hit up Jasmine like after the first week, and I was like, yo, these 40 songs, like, this is daunting. This is a lot to learn. And she's like, all right, which 40 songs did he give you? And she goes, okay, out of those 40, these are the 20 that we always play. The others we sometimes play. I was like, okay, so I focused on that. And he has me playing keyboard, had me playing acoustic guitar, had me playing trumpet, and had me singing lead on some songs, as well as backup harmonies as well. Plus dance moves and move your legs and move your hands and get the audience participation going and all that. So it's just like list and stack. The list was just piling on of my responsibilities. And so I I had a bunch of notes that I wrote on pieces of paper. It was before the iPad era, and I wrote pieces of paper with lyrics because it was hard for me to memorize the songs. And if I'm singing lead, I gotta have that right. So I would have the lyrics of the songs just on the floor, underneath the microphone, and I would like be singing on the mic, and I'd look down, and I could like see the lyrics every once in a while, and then and that worked for me for like the first 3 gigs. We did the first gig I remember was at Tio Leo's Mexican restaurant in San Diego. And let me tell you, I did a horrible job. Just an absolute dog shit performance on my end. It was so bad. I was certain that I was getting fired. I'm like, there's no way. We pack up the stage, we get in the van, and Igor, as we're driving home, Igor just starts giving me notes on my performance. Okay, I'm taking notes. I still have the gig. Hey, next time do this. Next time do that. Okay. Well, next time was the very next day. We played in Santa Monica. We played at Rusty Surf Ranch on the Santa Monica Pier. I fixed a couple mistakes, but I still made a lot more. Again, I thought, we haven't officially hit the road yet. We're still technically home. We drove to San Diego, slept at home, and then we drove to Santa Monica gig and slept at home. So I was kind of sure that I wasn't going to get it. Sure enough, same thing. Just gives me notes. Fix this, fix that. Okay. Next day, we show up to the tour van, and now we're officially on tour, and we're driving to Bend, Oregon. And that was my 3rd and last day using notes. I hadn't had everything memorized at the time, not confident with the material, realizing that I am the worst member of the band. It's what it felt like at the time. I mean, Jasmine is just a killer on the drums, and Deja has this permanent smile and just crushing it on the bass, and her stage presence is insane. And then Igor, just this big personality, just this huge presence on stage, and these hilarious but awesome songs that are fun, and hey, getting the audience to go along with it and all that. I just felt like the weak link. And I was the weak link. After that third show in Bend, Oregon, I remember I partied with my cousin Pete. We got pretty hammered that night. And I remember I stumbled my way back to the hotel room and I couldn't remember how to work a key. It was pretty hilarious. The next day, day 4, we have a band meeting. Igor says, "Let's have a band meeting." He's Ukrainian, so Igor says, "Let's have a band meeting." And while we're having a band meeting, it's very clear that this is not a meeting for the band. This is for me. And so Igor says, "No more notes on stage." And I was like, "Oh, crap." He's like, "Starting tonight in Eugene, Oregon, no notes." He goes, "Paul McCartney doesn't have notes at his concerts." And I stayed quiet. I was like, "Okay, yes, sir." In my mind, I'm thinking, well, yeah, Paul McCartney wrote the songs. And he's a living legend. I'm learning all this material, and it's hard to hold all that information. So anyway, that night, I'm like, all right, well, I even told Igor, I'm like, he's like, "It's okay if you make mistakes." Okay, I'm gonna definitely make mistakes. Day 4, that night, Eugene, Oregon, no notes. I did a surprisingly good job. Of course, I made some mistakes and I forgot a couple things, but forcing my mind to go off of memory and not read material and just do it, I performed surprisingly well. I remembered a lot more than I thought I would. When when it came down to it, I rose to the occasion, and I did a good job. And after the first week, it was smooth sailing, which is so funny because there was a friend of mine that was a regular at the bar I worked at, and he was retired. He was retired, and he was a former touring musician. He was a bass player, and so he gave me advice. He goes, "Hey, I'm just gonna let you know, the first week is the hardest. After that, smooth sailing." Dude, he couldn't have been more correct. That first week was so hard. Every show I was so scared. At the end of the first 7 shows, the first week, because it was a show every day, I was good. I was good. Yeah, of course, there was more notes along the way. Igor's the band leader, and there's constant notes. Hey, do this. Hey, do that. Hey, do this, do that. Okay, fine. But I was confident in the material, and now I'm officially living my dream as a touring musician in a mid-level successful rock and roll band, traveling the country, playing shows. I toured with them for 4.5 years, played almost 1,000 shows. We drove to, over 1,000 cities and 45 states and 3 countries. I went to Mexico as my 4th country on my own, but the Red Elvises took me all over America, 45 states, all over Canada. And at the end of the tour, Igor goes, "Okay, I need to have a surgery. I'm going to Thailand to have a surgery. I need a hernia surgery." And so he's like, "I'm going to fly you guys out, the band, me, Jasmine, and Deja. I'm going to fly you out to take care of me." Sure. Okay. Paid vacation. Turns out full recovery, did not need to be taken care of. And we just partied in Thailand for 3 weeks, for almost a full month. It was so hilarious. I wasn't sure if I should do this. I wasn't sure if it was the right decision. And then after 3 months of living my dream on the road, playing 73 shows, I then get a trip to Thailand? Okay, this is a great life. This is absolutely fantastic. So that's the story of how I joined the Red Elvises. I there's one more piece I wanted to say in the beginning, but it's escaping me at the moment. So bring it up on another podcast. That's the story of how I joined the Red Elvises. Uh, there are no shortage of stories from the road. So in the future, I will be sharing those stories. Um, the Red Elvises are still touring, by the way, with other members. Um, uh, uh, right now, they're on tour. They're going to play in the Keys coming up shortly, and it's fantastic. The most fun band I've ever seen. It's the most, now that I'm out of the band and I've been in the audience watching them, it's the most fun I've ever had at a show, ever. They're so good. Like, they really live up to the title of your favorite band. Like, they're incredible. If you ever have the chance to see the Red Elvises, go see them. They're amazing. And they absolutely shaped me as a musician. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I wasn't good enough to be in the band as a musician. Musicianship wise, I wasn't good enough to share the stage with them. But I have a great personality. I have a need to, or I want to help. So when I showed up, I told you I had that leather jacket, and Igor even said, that is a really cool jacket. Like, he must be cool. And Igor also had all girls in the band for 2 years before I joined. So I'm the first guy to break the pattern of all girls. And so he wanted a drinking buddy. Now, I don't drink anymore. I quit during 2020, but I definitely drank when I joined the band, and I filled that role of being Igor's drinking buddy perfectly. Igor is a great drinking companion, and he doesn't always drink, but when he does, it's big time. And so at the end of the show of my audition, that audition in Hollywood, I I didn't have to, but I offered to help load. Hey, can I help you pack up the stage? Can I help you load everything into the van? Can I help? Can I help? Can I help? What can I do? And that is what got me the gig. 3 weeks into being on tour, I had my first real drinking with Igor. Where he was a day off, and Igor wanted to drink, so we stayed up all night in our hotel room just drinking beers, just beer after beer after beer. 7 in the morning, I go, okay, Igor, it's 7. We're leaving at noon. We have to check out in 5 hours. Like, we should probably get some sleep. And Igor goes, this has been a running joke ever since. Igor goes, have another cerveza. I insist. I'm like, okay. We had another beer or two for another hour. We stayed up till 8 in the morning that night. And until we finally went to sleep, super hungover the next day. But during that drinking, Igor does a thing where he goes, this is drunken conversation, but, and then he reveals a bunch of truths. And he goes, to be completely honest with you, you were not good enough to be in this band. But I thought you were a really cool guy. I thought you had a really cool jacket. And the fact that you were willing to help load, I thought was really cool, because we always need help loading every day. And those 3 things got me the gig. So there's something special there. There's something really cool about that. You talk about imposter syndrome and fake it until you make it. I was literally not a good enough musician to be in that band, but my personality and my willingness to help and just be helpful and be a cool guy, that is what got me the gig. And then as I was in, he knew, he goes, I know that you're eventually going to learn the material. And I eventually did. And I rose to the occasion, and I became a better trumpet player. I became a better all around musician. I became a better vocalist. I became a better keyboardist, better guitar player. All of my musicianship, every way you want to look at it, it all improved drastically. I am a million times the musician at the end of my experience with the Red Elvises, that 4.5 years, than I was in the beginning. And it's not even close. Not even close. Rock and roll boot camp is what Red Elvises was and still is for everyone else. That was my college. That's my college experience. I was in the band for 4.5 years. Rock and roll boot camp. Learned everything I could possibly learn about touring. I watched him book gigs. I watched his calendar and how he set things up. And now I've learned so much from Igor that I do the same thing for myself. And I book my own shows. And we went to the Florida Keys with my band Left on Rad. And I booked shows with that using the knowledge I gained from the Red Elvises. So, yeah, there you go. That's my story. That's how I joined the Red Elvises. That's how I got to start living my dream as a professional musician. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of my journey. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Have a good day. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.